Well, I was born and I grew up here in Oslo. My father was an executive, so he worked long days. My mother, she stayed home with us for the first years, but then she went back to her job as a librarian. And I had two brothers, a younger brother and an older brother. And I had a, really nice childhood. My only sorrow was when we moved from Oslo to the west coast to Molde. Although it was nice because my grandparents on both sides lived there. But I really felt lonely the first years in Molde because I longed back to my friends here in Oslo. I just loved Oslo. And I guess I spent the first couple of years in Molde, I spent a lot of time alone. And I don't know, but maybe when you spend time alone, you have time to come up with stories, and you make stories because the life that you live in your head is better, and you have more friends there than you have in real life. But then later on, I found friends, of course, in Molde, and I started playing soccer, which was what I did up until I was 19. And I was sure that I was destined to become a professional football player, playing for Tottenham in England. That was sort of my goal. And I played for a Premier League team in Norway. And but then I was injured when I was 19. And I broke the ligaments in both knees, and so I knew that a soccer career was more or less out of the question. So I had to rethink what I wanted to do with my life, and I went on to study economics in Bergen, and there I also started playing in the band. All my friends in Molde, they played in bands. I didn't play in anything, but I wrote lyrics for them. So I had discovered sort of my storytelling abilities, and I started playing in a band as a student. And after having studied in Bergen for 4 years, I moved finally to my beloved Oslo, and where I stayed for the rest of my life. And there I worked as a stockbroker while playing with my band. And finally my band got a record contract, so we recorded 4 albums and had big success, especially with a couple of the albums. Not the first one. Nobody bought the first album, but then with the second album we had a big, great breakthrough, and I worked, but I kept on working as a stockbroker. It was a bit strange, because the rest of the band, they were only playing with the band, and we were playing all the time. And very few people knew that. I mean, since I was, the singer, the guitar player, and the songwriter of the band, you would think that I would be a full-time musician. But I was the only one who was working besides playing. And I think the reason was that I somehow knew that I would never be a full-time musician. I didn't see myself as a musician. I saw myself first and foremost as a storyteller. And I used my songwriting for telling stories. And then in '97, my father had just died from cancer, and he was only 72 when he died. And I knew that he had plans for what he wanted to do, and he wanted to write a book about his experiences during the war. Among other things. And I realized that, okay, you can't postpone the things that you think are important, the things that you know that you have to do in life. And at that time I had made enough money, so I didn't have to, I wasn't rich, but I made enough money, so I didn't have to worry about anything. I could go without getting paid for some years. So I decided, okay, I have to write my first novel. And as soon as I started writing my first novel, I knew that, okay, I have been waiting for this since I was around, 18 or 19. All my friends had started to write their first novel at that age. We discussed literature, and it was like waking up, and finally start doing the things that I knew I had prepared to do for many years. And as soon as I started writing, I knew that, okay, this is what I will be doing for the rest of my life. I don't know if I can make a living out of it. The chances that you can make a living out of writing are so small that you can't sort of decide to become a full-time writer. But I knew that I would at least be a part-time writer, and that my main goal would be to have something published. And I was lucky because I was published on my first attempt, and since then I've been so lucky that I've had the best job that you can have in this world, and that is to be a writer. To actually spend most of your day making up stories, and besides having people paying you to do that, that's just, you're so privileged. And I still wake up in the morning and I have to pinch myself and say that, okay, what you are going to do today is just what you love, what you would do for free. It's just to sit down and make up stories. I have a daughter who lives with her mother, and the three of us, we are the two of them are my best friends. So we don't live together, but we live very close to each other, and we travel together. And I have most of my friends living here in Oslo. I have my two brothers living here in Oslo. So I travel a lot, but Oslo is my base. It's my home city, and it's also the home city for my main character in the Harry Hole series. So I will always come back to Oslo, and I can't imagine myself moving away from Oslo again. I moved from Oslo when I was 8 years old. It took me a couple of years to get over that. I will never move again, but also because Oslo is such a secure base for me. It's very easy for me to travel and stay away for a couple of months at the other end of the world, for that matter, and to be working there. Sometimes I just travel to cities I've never been to, and I stay there for a couple of months just writing, and sometimes using the city for my stories. But sometimes also just staying away from Oslo, because Oslo, as it is my home, is also a city where I'm very busy. There are so much things happening when I'm in Oslo, so sometimes I have to go away to get work done. When I'm not working, because I'm working a lot, I'm still playing, both with my band and with a duo and trio. In a sort of a storytelling / music setting. I like to go bicycle riding. Oslo is a great city for doing that. I have a cabin just outside the city that I go to. I go rock climbing, and Oslo is a great city for rock climbing. Sometimes I also travel outside Oslo, and each winter me and now also my daughter, we travel to Thailand. There's a place there where you can go rock climbing, and we are going there this winter also with her cousins to go rock climbing. And I just started playing tennis because I couldn't I could never fulfill my dream of becoming a professional football player. So now I decided that, okay, so I have to be a professional tennis player. So that is my aim now, to someday play at Wimbledon. Now, of course, I'll never play at Wimbledon, but I found out that when I'm playing tennis, it's this feeling that you're impossible to beat. It's just to play perfect. You have to play perfect. Perfect is good enough to do anything. And I know I'm a madman when I'm thinking that. But and this is no joke. I'm actually thinking that I can beat Nadal if I'm playing like I'm playing right now, if I play like that all the time. And it's the same thing when you're writing. You're writing and you're writing 2 or 3 sentences, and you look at them and you say that this is a great idea, this is great writing, I just have to keep on doing this for a couple of 100 pages and I'll be the greatest writer in the world. I know I'm crazy, but I think in order to be a writer, in order to sit all by yourself and write day in and day out, you have to have this crazy idea that you're the best writer in the world. And you know, there are moments when I am the greatest writer in the world. There are also moments when I'm probably among the 10 worst writers in the world. But you have to tell yourself that, okay, if I can be the greatest writer in the world for 10 seconds, I can be that for year in and year out.